Welcome back to the Paranormal Highway. Tonight, we're rolling into the great state of Illinois, a place where history, mystery, and oddities all collide. Illinois became the 21st state in 1818, and today it's home to about 12.5 million people. You'll find sprawling farmland, the towering skyline of Chicago, and a history that's shaped America in ways both famous and a little strange. It's called the Land of Lincoln, of course, since Abraham Lincoln built his life here. But it's also the birthplace of the skyscraper, the blues, deep dish pizza, and even Route 66, the legendary highway that starts right in Chicago. But Illinois has always had a quirky side. The Great Chicago Fire of 1871 reduced much of the city to ash, only for it to rise back up bigger and bolder than ever. In the tiny town of Casey, you can find the world's largest rocking chair, mailbox, and wind chime. And believe it or not, state law still says you can't give a dog whiskey. Sorry, Fido. Nature gets in on the act too. Every 17 years, cicadas swarm across Illinois, filling the air with an eerie drone. In 2024, 2 broods emerged at once, something that hadn't happened in more than 200 years. Imagine the sound of billions of wings buzzing at the same time. And of course, Illinois has a reputation for politics that are just as wild as its paranormal stories. 4 U.S. presidents, Lincoln, Grant, Reagan, and Obama, have called it home. But so have more than a few governors who wound up in prison. So buckle up, because tonight we'll go beyond the cornfields and skyscrapers to uncover Illinois' high strangeness. Welcome to the Paranormal Highway, Illinois edition.
The truth is out there, and it begins with you. Welcome to the Cosmic Fold, where we talk high strangeness. Call us at 928-288-2942. That's 928-288-2942. Or join us by video. If you're at a computer, just look for the link in the chat. Buckle up, sit around our virtual campfire, and let's get started.
What if we told you that Illinois has a secret history of strange lights in the sky? For decades, people here dismissed them as stars, lanterns, even kids flying kites. But over the years, the reports piled up. And little by little, Illinois stopped laughing and started wondering. This is the story of how one Midwestern state went from skeptical scoffing to quiet acceptance that maybe something was really out there. We'll trace it through real newspaper accounts from the late 1800s through the 1970s, and you can decide for yourself whether Illinois was chasing illusions or catching glimpses of something we still can't explain. Let's start in 1897, in the middle of America's first great airship wave. People across the country were reporting mysterious lights and flying machines overhead. But when the Chicago Chronicle covered the story on April 10, 1897, their experts had a simple answer. It wasn't a spaceship, it was just a star. Specifically Alpha Orionis, better known as Betelgeuse. Crowds of Chicagoans had gathered in the streets to gawk at the glowing green light hovering over the city, whispering that it was some fantastic new airship. But astronomers quickly waved them off. A product of the imagination, they called it. In other words, Chicago wasn't buying the UFO story. Not yet. Even in 1908, when the Macomb Journal ran an article about a strange light bobbing and dipping along a country road, something seen by half a dozen people and acting like a jack-o'-lantern, the explanation came just as quickly. Swamp gas. Harmless, natural, end of story. By the 1930s, though, things were shifting. On July 1, 1934, the Chicago Tribune reported police chasing a strange light in a Morton Grove stable. What they found wasn't a spaceship, but something almost stranger. A destitute couple living in an abandoned barn, illuminated by their makeshift lamp. It was framed as a story about love and poverty, the widowed farm owner taking the couple in, not aliens, but you can feel the cultural tension. People were looking up, seeing lights, and wondering if they meant more than what was on the surface. Fast forward to 1947 when the phrase flying saucer first took off nationwide. Sure enough, it popped up in Illinois too. On July 11, 1947, the Effingham Daily News ran a short but striking account. A farmer named John Percival swore he saw one of the mysterious discs streaking across the sky at 4 in the morning. He said it was silver, the size of a full moon, and moving faster than any airplane. No scientist could explain that one away so easily. And by 1948, things were getting weirder still. The Decatur Daily Review reported farmhouses and barns near Macomb catching fire. Now, not once, but multiple times, with witnesses swearing they saw the flames break out with no cause. Investigators even wondered if high-frequency waves, maybe even radar experiments, could be involved. The article never mentioned flying saucers directly, but the connection was implied. The real turning point came in the 1960s, when Fairfield, Illinois, suddenly found itself under siege by, well, something. On August 8, 1963, the Effingham Daily News ran a story about a brilliant light hanging over a farmyard. Witnesses described it as a kite affair, with a long tail and things projecting from it. They swore the light turned off when an airplane flew past, then turned back on once it was gone. The very next day, the Chicago Tribune followed up. Now, it wasn't just one or two farmers. It was dozens of phone calls, families, even the county court clerk. One man said the light looked like a cross-shaped affair with a tail, and that it frightened his young daughter to tears. Another witness claimed a strange, glowing object chased his car home 10 miles from a drive-in theater. For Fairfield, this wasn't swamp gas anymore. This was something that felt intelligent, maybe even interactive, and suddenly the whole county was outside at night, craning their necks at the sky. By the 1970s, Illinoisans weren't just seeing UFOs, they were describing them in detail. In 1974, the Herald and Review out of Decatur collected reports of glowing spheres, top-shaped craft with portholes, even entire frames of red and green lights with search beams sweeping across farmhouses. One farmer said the floodlights from the UFO lit up a yard so bright you could have found a needle in the grass. Another said the object hovered so close above him that he could have reached up and touched it. And then, in 1975, the Belleville News-Democrat published a chilling first-hand account. Teenager Rodney Walta and his friends said a dome-shaped craft followed them home, hovered over their house, and stunned their dogs into silence. They described beams of light like mercury falling, and even shocks strong enough to knock Rodney to the ground. His mother confirmed the dog's strange behavior and said her children didn't sleep for 4 nights afterward. This wasn't Chicago scoffing at a star anymore. This was real fear, lived experience, and a community that was no longer dismissing its witnesses. So, what do we make of Illinois' strange journey? From laughing off airships in 1897 to watching lights chase cars and hover over homes in the 1970s, the state seems to have gone from skepticism to acceptance, step by step. Maybe, just maybe, Illinois was one of the first states to slowly admit what millions of Americans have felt all along. We are not alone. Welcome to the Illinois Paranormal Highway, where this road takes us straight into some very recent UFO reports, including the infamous incident over Chicago's O'Hare Airport and plenty of other high strangeness lurking in the Prairie State.
Well, all I got to say is thanks, Obama.
I have my Henry, Illinois t-shirt on.
Oh.
My mother and her husband have a farm out there. It's actually quite pretty. They've got this great big huge river. In comparison to what's in our little town here, ours would look like a little tiny puddle compared to that river, and that's just a little one out there. It's very green. It's, in doing the research for this, we have to do a two-part. Whoops, I'm saying party because we've got a party here. We've got Joy. Hello, Joy. We've got Keith. Hey, Keith.
Hi, Keith. What's going on?
So it was shocking how much paranormal stories there are that come out of Illinois, and tons of UFO stories. And it was interesting watching the progression of how skeptical they were to just sort of like, oh, okay, here's another UFO.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of rivers, we are a stone's throw from the Great Chattahoochee, and the state of Georgia decided they were going to put a major sewage treatment plant right next to the river. See if you can guess what happens on a regular basis.
Oh God,
it's bad. So I'd rather have a small green river than something
no doubt.
Something that RFK is going to swim in.
And you can jump out glowing in the dark and look like an alien. So tonight's words are very easy to pronounce, Al.
I have all
you get a reprieve. It's a good Midwestern stuff, so it's an easy one tonight.
Nice.
So I'll bring up how's everyone doing, by the way? I meant to ask you guys that before we jump into this. You okay, Bove?
You know what? I'm doing all right. I really am. I'm having a good time and I'm being productive.
Good on you. Good for you. How about you, Al? How you doing?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Been fighting Windows on this headset.
It's a losing battle.
Sorry, it's been an emotional couple weeks, guys.
Oh, hi, May.
We love you, Dave. Here's a comment about your sewage facility, Al.
Yes, Joy, this is very true. And boy, when you drive through, oh my gosh, when you drive down Atlanta Boulevard past it, you could start smelling it about a half a mile or so away from the sewage plant and about a half a mile after it. It's just nasty.
That's awful.
That is awful.
You know. Yes, I got
we knew that, Joy.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and another congrats on your new grandson.
Yes, this makes grandchild number 5.
Wow.
But boy.
The first boy.
Oh, congratulations. And the last name will live on.
Yeah, well, it's a daughter, so the last name has my son-in-law. But my other granddaughter has my last name, and they're trying for another one, so we'll see what happens.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, well, here we are.
Illinois Paranormal Highway, UFOs, cryptids, mysteries, and hauntings.
And these are some of the funniest cryptid stories I think I've ever read. So we'll have fun with these.
No.
We'll see what we can do. UFOs and strange lights. Chicago O'Hare UFO. A UFO at the airport was trying to land. In November 2006, more than a dozen workers at Chicago's O'Hare Airport, including pilots, mechanics, and air traffic controllers, said they saw a gray saucer-shaped object hovering over Concourse C. Thank you, Joy. Witnesses described it as 6 to 20 feet wide, completely silent, sitting about 1,400 feet above the ground. Then in an instant, it shot straight up with tremendous energy, leaving a clean hole in the clouds. The FAA later brushed it off as a weather phenomenon called the hole punch cloud. I think they made that up. But recordings obtained through a Freedom of Information Act request proved that employees really had reported a disc out there flying around. Despite all of this, no investigation was ever carried out. The mystery of the O'Hare UFO remains unsolved. Yeah, unsolved.
So, yeah, they just dismiss people that would know. I mean, if you're working out at the airport, I think you would know something that's out of character.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. Tinley Park lights. Oh, just more than 3. Yeah. These come up a lot. Between 2004 and 2006, people in Tinley Park and Oak Forest, Illinois, reported seeing 3 red lights hovering in the sky in a triangular formation. The sightings happened on August 21st, 2004, again on Halloween of the same year, once more on October 1st, 2005, and finally on Halloween night 2006. Multiple witnesses not only saw the lights, but also photographed and videotaped them. Some UFO researchers believe the footage shows the light holding a perfect triangular shape, moving together as if they were connected to a single dark object. The case drew national attention, appearing in a Dateline NBC segment in 2008 and on the History Channel's UFO Hunters episode, Invasion Illinois, later that same year. It's aliens.
I was wondering at first, why are they all showing up at Halloween? And it dawned on me, well, that's when everybody's out walking the streets, getting their candy and stuff.
Yeah,
so they were
yeah.
out looking. So who knows if it was around even more.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about this is that the Illinois UFO sightings, I mean, we're talking about a couple of centuries where they keep talking about this. A lot of these other states, it's either recent or it's a long time ago and not much has been reported. But Illinois seems to be a hotbed.
Yeah. Let's talk about the St. Clair County sightings from 2000. In the early morning hours of January 5th, 2000, police officers across several towns in St. Clair County, Illinois, including Highland, Lebanon, Shiloh, and Millstadt, all reported seeing the same thing: a massive, silent, triangular-shaped object with bright lights drifted low across the sky. Each officer described it in similar detail as it moved steadily from town to town. The sightings were so remarkable that they were later featured in UFO documentaries, including UFOs over Illinois on the Discovery Channel. It even inspired a song by Sufjan Stevens.
And I have no idea who that is.
Mr. Stevens wrote a song. The Federal Aviation Administration later suggested that what the officers saw might have been a lighted advertising blimp. Really? That's the best you can come up with. Yeah. Still, with multiple.
It's creative.
I know.
It's better than a weather balloon.
That's true. Still, with multiple trained officers, dispatch recordings, and consistent reports from different locations, many researchers call this one of the best documented UFO cases in Illinois history. Today, the mystery of what flew over St. Clair County that night remains unsolved. How do you like that?
Police, I would think that, I mean, they're going to know what a blimp is, an advertising blimp.
That's what I'm saying,
Funny how these are all just written off. Yeah.
It was a weather balloon.
So here's our Enigma site.
The Enigma users have submitted 743 sightings in Illinois. Combined with the publicly available sources, we have 7,832 total sightings in Illinois. Cities with the most sightings in the region, excuse me, within a 500-meter radius from the city center are Chicago, 862, Rockford, 187, Joliet, 84, Geneva, 81, and Bloomington, 80. To search by, you have to download the app if you want to search by city or county and all that. This app's got so much information in it.
It is, and I like how they categorize it by shape, and they look at these. Last week, I put the video up of what we found, what I saw out by here in St. John's, and it was interesting how AI analyzed that. But I think everyone concluded, both of you would know, basically they all thought it was a pretty legit UFO. So I'll have to upload that to this Enigma site, see what they say.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we a listing of the top shapes here, and it's 2,582 was the highest one. Just lights in the sky, and I don't know what null means. It's a question mark, but circles are up there, triangles, spheres, and other in last place there. But apparently, lights in the sky are the most common. Oh, did she? Cool. Did she see any UFOs, Kim? And she's typing.
For the people listening, she says, my sister used to live in Rockford. Last time I drove through Rockford, the humidity was so bad in Illinois, I thought my windshield wipers weren't working. And we're heading south. And it turned out that the humidity was so awful that there was water running on the inside of my truck. Yeah. And so everybody was driving like maybe 10 miles an hour. It took forever to get, what should take like maybe an hour. It took us like 5 hours to even get through there. So she says, I'm going to ask her.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool if she saw something in Rockford.
That would be cool. Well, I've never been to Rockford. I lived in Chicago for a little while. I just never went outside of Chicago. Anyway, cryptids and unexplained creatures, the Enfield horror of 1973. In April of 1973, residents of Enfield, Illinois, reported seeing a strange creature that quickly became known as the Enfield Monster. The most famous account came from Henry McDaniel, who said the creature scratched at his door late at night. When he stepped outside with a flashlight and a gun, as one is wont to do, he described seeing something grayish, about 4.5 feet tall, with 3 legs, 2 short arms, and glowing pink eyes. McDaniel said it covered 50 feet in just 3 jumps before disappearing toward the railroad tracks. Police who investigated found odd footprints with 6 toe pads and considered McDaniel to be a sober, reliable witness. I got scratchy throat. Sorry about that, people. A young neighbor claimed the monster tore his shoes, but later admitted he made up the story as a prank. 2 weeks later, McDaniel reported seeing the creature again, and a radio news team also claimed to spot an ape-like figure and even recorded its cries. The story drew widespread media coverage, and soon monster hunters showed up in town with guns, raising fears they might shoot livestock or people by mistake.
Oh, shit.
It could happen, right? Some suggested it might have been an escaped kangaroo or even a wild ape. What, a kangaroo in Illinois? Nothing of the sort. Researchers at Western Illinois University later studied the case as an example of social contagion, pointing out how just a few first-hand reports were amplified into hysteria by newspapers and gossip. To this day, the true identity of the Enfield monster remains a mystery, and the case is still considered unsolved.
AI had a heck of a time trying to draw this thing. Plus, it was real slow today. The internet is just all messed up. But
looks like
when it came up with it,
shoes.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cute, but they're all out there ready to shoot it. It's just so typical. Oh man.
Oh, the Big Muddy Monster. Also 1973. In the summer of 1973, the town of Murfreesboro, that throws me off because it's a real popular town in the mountains of North Carolina called Murfreesboro.
Oh, okay. And there's a town like this in Tennessee also. So
yeah, it was shaken, whole town shaken to its core by reports of a huge, foul-smelling creature lurking near the Big Muddy River. And I was nowhere near Murfreesboro in 1973, so it wasn't me. The first sighting came from a young couple parked near the river who said a tall, white, hairy figure approached their car, growling and reeking of a terrible odor. Frightened, they raced to the police, and when officers searched the area, they found enormous tracks in the mud. Over the next several weeks, more people claimed to see the same monster, described as 7 feet tall, covered in matted hair, and smelling like rotten garbage. Police reports were filed, search parties combed the woods, but nothing was ever captured. Despite all the attention, no explanation was ever found, and the Big Muddy Monster remains one of Illinois' strangest cryptid mysteries. And to this day, locals still talk about it, and the case is officially unsolved.
And where this picture comes from, the town, I guess it's not a city, the town has like this case file that you can download like a whole PDF, and it's like 30 pages or something. And they've got like all these police reports and different things and eyewitness statements about, so they take this very seriously out there. So I think
it's got to be legit.
Yeah, I think so.
It's parted down the middle.
Well, that's how everyone wore their hair in the 70s.
That's true. You're right.
Remember bell bottoms? I just hated the 70s. It's like shag carpet, great big huge glasses, bell bottoms.
The only thing that I liked about the 70s was at that point, I had more hair than this picture.
The music was pretty decent.
The music was
the music was awesome. It was. I digress.
Yep.
How about the Chicago Mothman? 2011 to the present. Since 2011, Chicago has been buzzing with reports of a giant winged humanoid that many call the Chicago Mothman. Sightings peaked in 2017 when dozens of people across the city, especially near the lakefront, claimed to see a huge creature, glowing eyes, bat-like wings, and a body anywhere from 6 to 10 feet tall. Witnesses described everything from loud screeching cries to the figure swooping low over the water, gliding silently above rooftops. Stories poured in during that year's solar eclipse, and even longtime Chicagoans admitted they were keeping one nervous eye on the sky. Despite extensive interviews, on-the-ground hunts, and plenty of speculation, no one has been able to prove exactly what Chicago's Mothman really is. Some say it could be a sandhill crane, a large owl, or even a prankster with a drone, while others believe it's connected to the famous West Virginia Mothman sightings of the 1960s. For now, it remains one of the city's strangest modern mysteries, and the search for the truth, just like the creature itself, is still up in the air.
Yeah.
Denise from our Wednesday night shows grew up in Chicago, and she saw what she describes as a Mothman happen. I think she said the early 90s was when she experienced that. Mm-hmm. And she said it scared the crap out of her. And it like smashed against her bedroom window. And it appeared like, I don't remember how many times she said, but like at least 3 or 4 nights in a row, it kept coming. And she said it definitely was not a bird or it was like some really creepy, huge moth. And so then after that, they started having like all of this phone disruption in the house, and she was experiencing like all this paranormal kind of weirdness stuff. And then she and her brother went outside and saw like this weird rift thing in the sky in Chicago. And she told her mother about it, and she was so scared that she called the Air Force out there. And so I think whatever this thing is has been around for a while based on her story. But that's right by the Great Lakes. And, we've run this theory before, Al, about how there's probably all kinds of weird crap in the Great Lakes because of how they're connected underground. And, up there, the mosquitoes are like a foot long. They're so huge, because of all the water. So who knows what a moth could do, too.
Well,
what it would turn into.
Scientists, legit scientists, believe that there are a lot of forms of life on our planet that we don't know about yet. We haven't discovered them. They're in areas that have largely been unexplored, or there's only a small percentage of the ocean that we've explored, and 2% of space. Not 2% of space, 2% of the Milky Way. So
yeah,
who's to say? Yeah, Kim just said her sister never heard of any UFOs there. Okay,
that would be Rockford. Yeah. The people up in that area tend to be, at least my perception of it, kind of the quiet types that don't talk about this stuff a lot. Yeah. So, her sister might even have a neighbor who saw something and chooses not to say anything. So, but you're right, Al, about all of these things that have not. Well, and now look at this atlas that's coming in. I think today they said like it's the tail of it has grown and it's emitting its own light, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things we don't understand out there.
It's supposed to be something that
Pardon?
Supposed to hit us in a few months. Is that the thing you're talking about?
Oh, it's not. Yeah, it's not going to hit us, but it's going to go past Mars. But everybody is really talking about this thing because it's like an interstellar comet or something. It could be a craft of some kind because it is emitting its own light.
Right.
And it seems to be, so they haven't seen it for a while. Oh, and then tonight is supposedly a black moon. I don't really know what that is, but
how could you see that?
It looks like it's just going to storm out here, but who knows what's floating around tonight, speaking of that.
A polar bear of a snowstorm. How do you see a black moon at night?
Yeah.
How about the Lawndale?
Exactly. But tonight.
Lawndale Thunderbird, 1977. On July 25th, 1977, the Lowe family of Lawndale, Illinois, was enjoying a summer evening when terror struck. 10-year-old Marlon Lowe screamed as two enormous birds swooped down on him. One of the birds clawed at his shoulders, lifted the 56-pound boy into the air, and carried him more than 35 feet before his mother, Ruth, managed to fight it off. She later described the creature as nearly 4.5 feet long, with black feathers, a hooked 6-inch beak or bill, and a wingspan of at least 8 feet. People dismissed the account and even laughed at the family, but the Lowe's stuck to their story, and local papers reported on the frightening event. The Lawndale attack quickly became linked to centuries-old Illinois legends of giant thunderbirds. The nearby Cahokia, I got that right. The nearby Cahokia people threw it in there, Deb, didn't you?
I had to sneak at least one.
Yeah, I understand. Carved monstrous bird figures into cliffs, describing them as intelligent, powerful beings that could bring both danger and protection. Similar giant bird sightings were also reported around Alton in the 1940s, with witnesses claiming the creatures were as big as airplanes. Skeptics suggest the Lawndale bird may have been a turkey vulture. I've seen a ton, never mind. A misidentified condor or even mass panic. But to this day, the terrifying summer evening when a boy was nearly carried away by a massive bird remains one of, and that word is covered up by the lower third, most dramatic and unsolved cryptid encounters. 3D braining in a 2D land. Man, welcome back. Black moon, opposite blue moon. 2 new dark moons in 1 month. Wow. Blue moon this is really good information. Thank you. That's cool.
Yes.
That's very cool.
Not only is 3D intelligent, and she's funny and intelligent at the same time.
Yes, she is funny. That's for sure.
But, this one, what I found interesting about it is that a lot of these, when we talk about the Thunderbirds and all that kind of stuff, they seem to come from like the 1800s, early 1900s, yellow journalism stuff. But this one's showing up in the 70s.
Yeah.
So, there could very well be something that big out there. I don't know. But
I will tell you this: if you Google or search on YouTube, there are non-AI, legit videos of huge birds picking up cats, dogs, just all kinds of things, going after children. We had chickens. Maybe about a while ago, and I had to put. That's okay. You looked it up.
Looking up is a pretty smart thing to do.
But I had to put what they call hawk netting over my chicken run, because the hawks would come down and they just, and these weren't little chickens. I had barred rocks and browns, and they're good size. They're probably about 20 pounds. And they would come down and snatch up your livestock. There's no reason why there can't be a huge bird out there. A lot of condors, like the article said, have 8-foot wingspans or something like that. The bigger ones.
Yeah.
Even eagles can pick up 30, 40 pounds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
eagles can be nasty, according to my brother.
So can
they're always
oh my God, swans are such dicks.
Yeah, they are. They're vicious. They'll chase your
They
ass.
are.
They will. They're ankle biters. They're fucking ankle biters, man.
Although the funniest thing I saw when I was raising my kids was my son decided he was going to taunt a wild turkey, and it chased him everywhere. And me and Day are just sitting there, just cracking up, because you kind of brought that on yourself.
That's funny.
It was for dinner later, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You can say I've done that.
Yes, turkeys can be really nasty.
Yeah. Ooh. The Coal
They're
Hollow
all
Road
white. They're all white ones out in Illinois. The big
Well,
feet.
it's a colder climate, I guess. I don't know. But we're talking now about the Coal Hollow Road Monster, Cohomo, from 1972. In May of 1972, teenagers in Pekin, Illinois, reported seeing a massive white-haired creature near Coal Hollow Road. They said it screeched loudly and seemed to be living under an abandoned house. Just weeks later, police in East Peoria received more than 200 calls from residents claiming they'd seen the monster wandering through the woods, yards, and along riverbanks. Some even said it damaged property. By July, excitement was so high that over 100 locals organized a search posse, but police had to shut it down after one volunteer accidentally shot himself in the foot.
I told you they're sort of funny.
Good Lord. Despite all the activity, no monster was found, but it earned the nickname Cohomo, short for Coal Hollow Monster. Sightings continued through the summer of 1972, including reports of the creature swimming in the Illinois River and frightening a woman near an abandoned coal mine. Witnesses described it as 8 to 9 feet tall, covered in whitish gray hair, with long, round ears, human-like hands, and a stench like a wet dog, mixed with rotten eggs. So basically, it smelled like kimchi. Its tracks were unusual, showing only 3 toes. While the frenzy eventually faded without capture, many believe Cohomo was simply a Bigfoot passing through. Okay. Even today, occasional sightings of a large hairy figure in the region keep the legend alive. A Bigfoot just passing through.
Can you imagine? It's bad enough, like if a skunk gets out of under your house, but can you imagine one of those things under there stinging out of heaven? Plus big and ripping everything up. Oh my God.
I ran over a skunk on a motorcycle probably 30 years ago, maybe longer.
Oh God.
Yeah, I just threw my clothes away.
Yeah.
It literally exploded. As soon as I hit it with the front tire, it exploded and it got all over me. I had to have the bike professionally detailed. I got rid of the seat because it was ripped and I got into the cushion, the foam.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so nasty.
I didn't fall, but yeah, that's
You didn't hurt yourself, but
no.
Oh, that's bad.
Skunk didn't fare too well.
I guess not.
Also rodent. Cryptids and unexplained creatures. Why is my phone not charging? Bigfoot sightings are reported throughout Illinois. The Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization has listed 307 sightings in the state. You can go to BFRO, that Bigfoot something network. What was it?
Bigfoot Field Researchers
Field Research, yeah, right there. So I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, and they have like a running thing by county where all the sightings. Some are pretty recent, so they maintain that kind of like the Enigma thing. Al.
That's cool.
It's interesting. This place is fascinating.
Oh, Woodland Palace, 1889 and 1926. In Kewanee, Illinois, stands a remarkable home called Woodland Palace, the dream project of inventor and naturalist Fred Francis. A graduate of the University of Illinois in 1878, Francis began building his estate in 1889 and worked on it for nearly 4 decades until his death in 1926. Using money from his patents as a watchmaker, he filled the house with inventions far ahead of their time. It became the first home in Illinois with air conditioning, thanks to a system of fans that also doubled as heating in winter. He designed hidden shutters and screens and automated doors and windows and even managed running water without electricity. Francis was also an artist, and his creative touch is seen everywhere in the house. The entrance is flanked by classical columns topped with an unusual onion-style feature and includes a glass-walled solarium built for his wife when she battled tuberculosis. Inside, nearly all the furniture and decorations were handmade by Francis himself, and today Woodland Palace still stands, much as he left it, open for tours and admired as the eccentric but brilliant creation of a man decades ahead of his time.
I've been there on family visits 2 times now. And when you think about the time back then, first of all, this guy was an atheist when he started out. And then he was also a naturalist. And And he would ride his bike around naked, so he was sort of like the talk of the town for a while.
I
Very
would guess
eccentric.
so. Hope you had a comfortable seat.
He was, yes, his fiance died of something, and so he married the fiance's mother, who was a widow. So he was very, very eccentric, but apparently quite brilliant. And when you go into this house, it really is remarkable what he was able to construct in the late 1800s, early 1900s with no electricity. That's and cool. How the fans were going and how he had running water. He was so far ahead of his time. So if anyone is up in that area, I would highly recommend you go see this place. Because cool. It's almost like if you want to learn survivalist skills, go to the Woodland Palace, because it really was just amazing. So that one I had to throw in there because it was just so cool.
That
is very cool.
Yeah.
Sorry about the distraction here, but my phone wasn't one of my vintage phones. Yes, I collect vintage phones. Don't ask me why.
You want to read this one, Bo, while he does that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's cool. I was just looking. I have an interestingly mint condition, fully functional iPhone 4.
Oh.
Yeah, they're up to like 17 now. Anyway, strange time. Peace in Henry in 1916. In June of 1916, the Henry News Republican reported on what they called a mysterious clock that appeared in the front window of the Henry National Bank. The strange device was nothing more than a glass dial with a pair of hands, but it seemed to move without any visible mechanism. There were no wires, no magnets, no clockworks that could be seen, just the hands moving as if by magic. Curious town folks gathered outside the bank, marveling at the clock that appeared to defy explanation. The bank claimed it was the closest thing to perpetual motion yet discovered. The article compared its operation to the forces that govern Earth itself, its rotation, centrifugal pull, and even the moon's attraction. Supposedly, through clever calculations, the clock's hands turned in rhythm with the Earth's rotation, though twice as fast. The mysterious clock soon became a permanent fixture in the bank window, drawing crowds for both its ability to tell time and for the puzzle it posed, not just what time is it, but what makes it go. Where is it? Is it in there?
I tried. There were a whole bunch of newspaper articles about this, but I couldn't find a picture of it. And since then, that bank is no longer. It's been taken out. You know how they all are, but that seemed to be a thing back in that time period where people were trying to invent all these different clocks and perpetual motion. But that was kind of cool.
That's a beautiful piece of architecture, that bank. You know.
Yeah.
More mysteries, interesting finds in folklore. The Devil Baby of Hull House. The Jane Addams Hull House Museum in Chicago is famous not just for its history of social reform, but also for its ghost stories. Visitors and staff have reported all kinds of strange events, from chairs moving on their own to ghostly figures showing up in photographs and the sound of children playing in empty hallways. The museum now leans into that reputation, offering ghost tours, film screenings, and even hosting paranormal investigations. Yes, that's the way to go, man. Do it. If you can, do it. The most famous legend tied to the house is the Devil Baby, said to have been brought to Hull House and hidden in the attic. The story spread so widely that in the early 1900s, Jane Addams herself wrote about it in The Atlantic in 1916. But the Devil Baby isn't the only spirit said to linger. Guests have claimed to see a woman in white, believed to be Millicent Hull, who died in the mansion, as well as shadowy monk-like figures moving through the halls. Some say there's even a portal to hell in the courtyard. Today, staff and visitors alike often greet the unseen with a hello while opening the building and a goodbye when closing. Far from shying away from its eerie reputation, Hull House embraces it, reminding Chicagoans that ghost stories are part of the city's culture and folklore. That's cool.
Definitely.
Wonder if the Warrens have been there.
We have a rest stop.
A rest stop on the Paranormal Highway. And speaking of ghosts, be sure to join us next week for part 2 of the Illinois Paranormal Highway. We will dive into hauntings, legends, and even more strange encounters from the Prairie State.
Yeah, there were so many stories. It's like I just had to break this up into two of them because it takes hours and hours to go through all these news accounts.
Yeah.
But I was surprised at how much there is out there. And then the ghost stories, there's just like tons and tons of them. That's where there's a pretty famous picture of some cemetery in Chicago that shows like this full-bodied ghost woman. Do you know which one I'm talking about? It's quite famous. We'll get into that and some of these. I mean, the newspaper stuff is just full of it. I mean, I could probably do like 400 stories if I wanted to, but I'll just find the most entertaining.
It's a hell of a long podcast.
Yes. But, oh, there comes your puppy.
Come here, Pat.
But the thing that was so interesting about them is that most of the stories are more recent that they have, where all these other states, especially old ones like that, it's all the yellow journalism period of time. But this one, it seems to be the 60s and 70s when everything went kind of crazy. Or maybe that's when people felt more liberated to even talk about this stuff. I don't know.
Do I look like a what do you call it? A criminal mastermind with the bald head and petting the small animal?
Yes, now you do.
I'll move it.
So I was going to ask you, what became of your light situation from the last show? Remember, it was blinking off and on. What was going on? Was it an electrical surge or a bad bulb, or what was it?
I have no idea what it was because it stopped happening, and it never happened again. For a minute there, I thought it was maybe the camera, but if it was the camera, the lights would be going on and off only on the screen, right? Not in the actual room. So I don't know what that was. I have no idea. I do know that was
weird.
Yeah, that was very weird.
I think the ghosts were hitchhiking through the show into your house.
Right?
I think so too.
That was
see,
I stayed out of the room for a couple of days.
That Day is home now, so it's safe.
That's right. Poor Jay was out of town. I don't know what to do with himself. Him and the dog.
Just me and
had the ghost show up then.
Okay. She gone. That's a thick a little bit. Anyway. Yeah.
Well, any paranormal stories you want to share, or otherwise it's the end from my point of view, or any thoughts, Bo, of what you thought about all this?
I did have a thought about the clock, and I'm wondering, I don't recall what year that clock was supposed to be from, but I am wondering why
I think it was 1916.
Yeah.
1916.
And no photo.
I couldn't find one. That's not to say there isn't one, but
maybe
after about an hour of looking, I just was like, I'm done. I can't. I'll be up all night doing.
Maybe it was a vampire clock that won't show up on cameras.
I'd like to see a picture of that clock.
Yeah, I'll do some digging. I'll see what I can.
All right. So, Thank you.
But, the lights, by the way, it was recorded because when I looked at the show, I usually go over the show. Yeah. It was in there, and I was like, "Dang, what is that?" She goes, "I don't know."
Oh yeah, and we could all see it, and it was. So your friend, I can't remember her first name, but Kim, is that who it is?
Yeah.
Her husband Steve said it was supernatural. And she's laughing.
Yeah, it was.
Well, that's just it. We're laughing it off pretty quickly, but it truly could have been freaking anything.
Right?
Well, especially if the bulbs were fine and nowhere else in the house was shorting.
I have it on the light. Just had a camera view here. It's the main light in the room. It's like a bishop's crook with an LED light in it, and I turned that off. I turned the light off in the back, and it was still doing it. So all the lights in the room were off. So it was not a flickering light.
I did not realize.
Now is that light on now? It's a light on now, and it's totally fine now.
Yeah, fine.
Wow.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's pretty crazy.
It is.
I agree. It falls under strangeness.
Well, I thought about going outside tonight and just looking to see if we could see anything with this black moon, but it is so cloudy. I think we've got a big storm coming, so we need the rain. So
yeah, we've had rain the last week. It's just been cloudy and sticky and humid and rainy, and you know, this where I live, the townhouses I live in are built basically. They cleared out whatever of the woods they needed to put the buildings in the parking lot in, but it's very wooded and you could hardly see the sky. I'd have to like drive over to the parking lot of Six Flags to see the sky.
Oh, to even see it. Jeez.
Yeah. So, but you can definitely hear the
got a good view there.
I'm like a mile away, half a mile or a mile away from the Fulton County Airport. Now, no, big jets don't land there, but yeah. Bigger, it's loud. It's loud because they're low. They're about 100 feet off the ground. It's like, wow.
Oh, geez. Well, if nobody else has any more comments, I'll wrap this up. Wednesday show, we're going to get into AI. And, both text me if you have questions because I'm going to pre-film. I figured out how to do it. So I'm going to take a spirit box and an AI and have them talk to each other. And so we'll film that. So text me over a couple questions if you want. Al, you can too.
Okay.
So that'll be highly entertaining.
Yes, it will.
I just saw a flash again, Al. I just saw another flash over there. Yeah. It was by your arm.
I'm moving stuff around. There's nothing happening. I'm shaking the camera.
We're gonna make him scared to come on the show.
I know.
Sending the it's all right. It's all right.
And then next Saturday's Paranormal Highway will hit Illinois again through all the spooky houses and ghost sightings. So anyway, with that, I want to thank you both. So good to see you all. Thank you all the people who joined us and those watching later. And so we'll be back Wednesday and Saturday.
All right.
Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
You too.
Thanks so much for joining us. We love hearing your stories, so tell your friends so they can join the party. For show notes and our forum of high strangeness, visit cosmicfold.com. Remember, Cosmic Fold airs live on Wednesday and Saturday nights, so be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to know when we're on air. Thanks again and have a great evening.